The way we think, speak, and act determines the quality of our lives. Too many people waste their time telling others about their problems, repeating the same story over and over again, as if talking about it will somehow change their situation. But the truth is, focusing on your problems only amplifies them. The more you dwell on what's wrong, the more stuck you become. If you truly want to break free and create real change, you need to shift your focus from problems to solutions. Think about it. When you tell people your problems, what are you really doing? You are reinforcing the same negative patterns, keeping yourself locked in a cycle of frustration, disappointment, and limitation. You are training your mind to see obstacles instead of opportunities. The mind is like a muscle. Whatever you feed it, it grows. If you constantly tell yourself and others how difficult things are, your mind will start to believe it and your body will follow. You will feel more stressed, more drained, and less capable of taking action. And the more you repeat these negative thoughts, the stronger they become. But there is another way. Instead of focusing on problems, focus on solutions. Every great leader, every successful person, every high achiever has faced obstacles. The difference is they don't sit around talking about how unfair life is. They don't waste energy complaining. They take that energy and redirect it toward finding answers, toward making things better, toward moving forward, because they understand one thing: whatever you focus on expands. Imagine you're driving a car. If you keep staring at the rearview mirror, constantly looking at what's behind you, what's going to happen? You're going to crash. Life works the same way. If you are always focused on what went wrong, what's unfair, or what you don't have, you will never move forward. But the moment you shift your focus, when you stop looking at the problem and start looking at the road ahead, everything changes. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that talking about their problems will make them feel better. They think that by venting to others, they will release some of their stress, but in reality, the opposite happens. Talking about problems without a focus on solutions only strengthens the negative emotions attached to them. It makes the problem seem bigger, more powerful, and more overwhelming than it actually is, and it conditions your mind to seek validation instead of results. Successful people don't look for sympathy, they look for strategies. They don't waste time telling the world how bad things are. They ask themselves, what's the next move? Instead of saying, I don't have enough money, they ask, how can I create more income? Instead of saying, I'm stuck in this situation, they ask, what steps can I take right now to improve it? This shift in focus is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. But this isn't just about career or financial success. This applies to every area of life: your health, your relationships, your mindset. If you're unhappy with your health, talking about how bad you feel won't change anything. But asking yourself, what can I do today to improve? And then taking action, even if it's something small, will create momentum. If you're struggling in a relationship, complaining to others about your partner won't fix it. But asking yourself, how can I improve communication? What can I do differently? Will shift the dynamic. Taking control of your focus isn't just about positive thinking, it's about training your mind to look for possibilities instead of roadblocks. It's about conditioning yourself to become a problem solver instead of a problem dweller. And it starts with one simple but powerful decision: to stop telling people your problems and start telling yourself a better story. There is power in the questions you ask yourself. When you ask, why does this always happen to me? Your brain will come up with reasons. Because you're unlucky, because life is unfair, because things never work out. But if you ask, how can I turn this around? Your brain will start searching for solutions. It will find new strategies, new perspectives, and new ways to move forward. Most people never break free from their problems because they are addicted to the story they tell themselves. They have convinced themselves that life is happening to them, not for them. They believe they are powerless. But the moment you take responsibility for your focus, you reclaim your power. You stop looking for excuses and start looking for answers. You stop waiting for someone to save you and start saving yourself. There will always be challenges in life. No one is immune to setbacks, disappointments, or failures. But what defines you is not what happens to you, it's how you respond. You can either let your problems define you, or you can let them refine you. You can either let them hold you back, or you can use them as fuel to push forward. You are not your problems. problems. You are the creator of your future, and that future begins the moment you decide to stop talking about what's wrong and start focusing on what's possible. Because the truth is, your problems don't define you. Your solutions do. The way we speak about our lives shapes the way we experience them. Every time you tell a story about yourself, whether it's to others or in your own mind, you reinforce a certain identity. If you constantly talk about your struggles, your limitations, or the reasons why things aren't working out, you are programming yourself to believe that is who you are. And once you accept that identity, it becomes your reality. Think about the people who always talk about their problems. They repeat the same complaints, the same frustrations, the same struggles over and over again, and yet nothing changes for them. Why? Because they are trapped in their own story. They have convinced themselves that their problems are bigger than they are, that they are victims of circumstances beyond their control. And by constantly speaking about their limitations, they give those limitations even more power. But there is another kind of person, the one who refuses to be defined by their problems, the person who, no matter what challenges they face, does not dwell on them. Instead of complaining, they focus on solutions. Instead of telling a story of struggle, they tell a story of strength. And because they refuse to accept a disempowering identity, they create a life that reflects their true potential. The way you speak about yourself matters more than you realize. Every time you say, "I'm always struggling," "I never have enough," or "nothing ever works out for me," you are reinforcing those beliefs. Your mind takes those words as instructions. It begins looking for proof that your words are true. It filters out opportunities and possibilities because they don't align with the story you're telling. But when you change your words, when you start saying, "I am resourceful," "I find solutions," or "I always figure things out," your mind begins to search for ways to make that story a reality. This isn't about pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about refusing to let those challenges define you. It's about recognizing that while you may face obstacles, you are bigger than any obstacle in your path. The moment you take control of your story, you take control of your life. Most people don't realize that they are addicted to their own struggles. They find comfort in talking about their difficulties because it gives them an identity. It makes them feel validated when others sympathize with them. But sympathy does not create change, it only keeps you stuck. If you want to transform your life, you must be willing to let go of the identity that is keeping you where you are. Instead of telling a story of struggle, tell a story of resilience. Instead of talking about what's wrong, talk about what you are doing to change it. Instead of identifying with your problems, identify with your strengths. This shift in language may seem small, but it is one of the most powerful changes you can make. Because the moment you change your story, your actions change. And when your actions change, your life changes. Every successful person has faced challenges. They have encountered setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. But they do not allow those moments to become their identity. They refuse to see themselves as victims. They choose to see themselves as creators, people who can shape their own destiny regardless of the circumstances. And that is the mindset that separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. If you want to break free from the patterns that have held you back, you must start by changing the way you speak about yourself. Stop reinforcing the idea that you are powerless. Stop repeating the same complaints that keep you trapped. Start telling a new story. One that empowers you, one that reminds you of your strength, one that moves you forward instead of holding you back. Words have power. The words you use to describe yourself and your life will either lift you up or tear you down. Choose them wisely, because the story you tell yourself today is the life you will create tomorrow. Your mindset is the foundation of everything you achieve in life. The thoughts you allow, the words you speak, and the energy you surround yourself with determine the results you get. If you fill your mind with negativity, doubts, and limitations, your life will reflect that. But if you commit to protecting your energy, training your mind, and focusing on what's possible, you will find a way to succeed no matter what challenges arise. Most people don't realize how much their environment shapes their emotions and decisions. They spend time with people who complain, who make excuses, who talk about why things aren't fair. They listen to negativity, consume bad news, and engage in conversations that drain their energy instead of elevating them. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they feel unmotivated, or why they struggle to move forward. It's because they have allowed the wrong influences to take control of their mindset. The most successful people in the world understand that they must protect their energy at all costs. They do not allow themselves to be surrounded by negativity. They don't waste time arguing, gossiping, or complaining. They don't entertain conversations that bring them down. Instead, they actively choose what they listen to, what they think about, and what they allow into their lives. They surround themselves with people who push them forward, who challenge them to grow, who believe in what's possible. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you constantly feed it with negative thoughts, fear, and doubt, that's what will take root. But if you plant ideas of strength, confidence, and opportunity, your mind will begin to find ways to create success. And this is not just about positive thinking. It's about training yourself to focus on solutions, to see possibilities where others see obstacles, and to maintain the kind of energy that attracts success instead of repelling it. The truth is, most people sabotage themselves without even realizing it. They wake up in the morning and immediately start thinking about what's wrong. They replay past failures. They worry about what might go wrong. They stress about things they can't control, and by the time they start their day, they have already put themselves in a state of fear and frustration. But those who achieve great things take control of their mindset from the moment they wake up. They don't wait to feel motivated. They create motivation. They don't wait for things to change. They change the way they approach life. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to be intentional about how you start your day. If you fill your mind with negativity in the morning, you will carry that energy with you all day. But if you start your day with gratitude, with powerful thoughts, and with a clear focus on what you want to achieve, everything changes. This is why people like Tony Robbins have specific morning routines, because they understand that the way you begin your day determines the direction of your life. And it's not just about the morning. Throughout the day, you have to protect your mindset. You have to be aware of the conversations you engage in, the content you consume, and the people you surround yourself with. If you allow yourself to be influenced by negativity, you will start thinking and acting in a way that limits you. But if you intentionally choose to feed your mind with empowering ideas, to engage with people who uplift you, and to focus on progress instead of problems, you will create unstoppable momentum. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about taking control of your perspective. No one is saying that challenges don't exist, that life is always easy, or that you should pretend everything is perfect. But you must decide whether you will let difficulties drain you or strengthen you. You must choose whether you will focus on what's missing or what's possible, because your mindset is either your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. You cannot allow external circumstances to dictate your energy. You must take ownership of your emotions, your thoughts, and your focus. Because at the end of the day, success is not just about skill or intelligence. It's about your ability to stay mentally strong, to keep moving forward even when things get tough, and to maintain the kind of energy that attracts the life you want. Your mind is your most powerful tool. Train it, protect it, strengthen it. Because the way you think determines everything else. Every result in your life, good or bad, stems from the standards you set for yourself. The level of success you experience, the quality of your relationships, the state of your health, and the happiness you feel all come down to what you're willing to accept. If you have low standards, life will give you the bare minimum. But if you raise your standards, if you decide that you will not settle for anything less than extraordinary, everything begins to change. Most people don't realize that their standards control their destiny. They say they want to be successful, but they tolerate mediocrity. They say they want to be in great shape, but they accept unhealthy habits. They say they want an amazing relationship, but they settle for one that drains them. The truth is, your life is a reflection of what you're willing to accept. And if you want to change your life, you must first change your standards. The difference between people who achieve greatness and those who struggle is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It's the level of expectation they have for themselves. Those who succeed refuse to settle. They do not tolerate excuses. They do not accept average effort. They demand more from themselves than anyone else ever could. And because they hold themselves to a higher standard, they create results that most people never will. Think about the most successful people in the world. They do not do what is easy, they do what is necessary. They show up when they don't feel like it. They push themselves when no one is watching. They make sacrifices that others are unwilling to make. And because they set an unshakable standard for themselves, they achieve extraordinary results. But it's not just about hard work. It's about what you are no longer willing to accept. If you want to be financially successful, you must stop accepting financial struggle as a permanent reality. If you want to be healthy, you must stop tolerating unhealthy choices. If you want to be happy, you must stop surrounding yourself with negativity. The moment you decide that you will no longer settle for anything less than what you deserve, you will find a way to elevate your life. This is why so many people stay stuck. They are waiting for their circumstances to change instead of changing their standards. They think that once they get the right opportunity, the right break, or the right situation, things will improve, but success doesn't work that way. Your circumstances don't determine your success, your standards do. And when you raise your standards, your actions naturally follow. It's not enough to simply want more. Everyone wants more, but few people are willing to demand more from themselves, because raising your standards means making difficult choices. It means letting go of habits that don't serve you. It means walking away from people who hold you back. It means pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, even when it's uncomfortable. The moment you commit to a higher standard, everything changes. Your mindset shifts, your confidence grows, your actions align with your goals instead of your fears, and most importantly, you start attracting better results because you refuse to accept anything less. Look at the people you admire, the leaders, the innovators, the high achievers. None of them got where they are by settling. They made a decision to expect more from themselves than anyone else ever would. And because they made that decision, they built a life that most people only dream of. So ask yourself, what have you been tolerating? Where in your life have you been settling for less than you deserve? What habits, what relationships, what limiting beliefs have you accepted as normal? And more importantly, what would happen if you raised your standards? Because the truth is, the moment you refuse to settle, the moment you set a higher expectation for yourself, you unlock a level of potential that you never knew existed. And that decision, the decision to expect more, to demand more, and to give more is what will separate you from the rest.